talking back to the police like that? No, we know our rights.
If you, or screen share real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, perfect. I was trying to, but I'm running everything off a laptop right now, man. I'm just, you feel me? My laptop's like, bro.
No, what are you doing to me? What I'm going to show you, gentlemen, will be right here. So it's stuff we were already talking about. I just wanted to kind of catch up with everything. Okay, so how do I scoot this thing over? How do I scoot this?
What you mean, the screen share? When you share your screen to take over everything.
No, I could see us on the side, but you have your mic is muted. Oh.
Tonight, investigating a claim of excessive force against the Sarasota Police Department. Police say it was a traffic stop that started with a driver on the wrong side of the road. They say a passenger, 40-year-old Govinda Howell, refused orders to then get out of the car. ABC 7th Taylor Torgano was live where the 23rd Street in North Sarasota. Taylor?
That's right, Scott. You're about to see this location, but in the dark of the night and a much more chaotic situation. Witnesses say they saw Govinda Howell get thrown to the floor by police, and it was all caught on camera. See for yourself.
No, just relax. Just relax.
Witnesses screaming to Govinda Howell to relax and trying to tell police that he's handicapped.
He's handicapped. No, Govinda.
You can see it all escalate quickly.
And I heard her screaming, no, don't hit him. No, no, please stop.
Gilda Williams says she raised 40-year-old Govinda Howell. She was on the phone with a neighbor who saw the whole thing unfold.
You can hear me on there saying that the guy's handicapped. The guy's handicapped. So from there on, the cops ended up grabbing him, throwing him to the ground. I seen physical blows with 6 guys on one guy trying to break him down, punching him.
Jason Bradley says he saw the police hitting, choking, and pushing Govinda Howell into the floor. Sarasota police say Govinda was in the back seat of the vehicle, leaning forward as if he was reaching for something and refusing to show his hands.
Because he rocks, you thought he was trying to hide something or put something, whatever they said, that he had something in his mouth. I don't believe that.
Police say Howell resisted arrest, and during the struggle, they saw him actively placing suspected narcotics in his mouth, then chew them to try and destroy them.
How could he enter something in his mouth if he's got his hand behind his back?
His aunt outraged. She says he's now in a coma.
It's about that boy's life. I'm not standing here for no money or I'm standing here for him. That he gets better. Hope he wake up. Hope he open his eyes. That's what I want.
Now, police say Howell appeared to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, but they were also unable to recover any of the narcotics they say he consumed. There has been an internal affairs investigation launched because of this incident and community concerns. I'm live in Newtown. Taylor Torgano, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
I also
tonight
I also put up the other video.
Can I just say something really quick? Just like a quick little. I think it's just really interesting. The brother that was explaining the story and the sister that was explaining the story, how relatively calm they were, and that even in that all that bullshit, they were still so fucking calm. We're expected to be so calm under all that fucking pressure. That's not even. That's unreal. That's all I wanted to say.
100% agree. I mean, that is an absolute fact. So we were talking about the Chad Wheeler situation here, and this is an updated video. I believe it said from 2 days ago. I was going to spin that for you as well.
For the very first time, the woman who says she was attacked by former Seattle Seahawks player Chad Wheeler is speaking out. Last week, you may recall, Wheeler pleaded not guilty to 3 charges, including domestic violence assault. His ex-girlfriend showed up in court to face him. She says that Wheeler is still a threat to her safety. And now she's sharing her story in an exclusive interview with CBS This Morning. She spoke with our national correspondent, Jerika Duncan. Good morning to you, Jerika.
Good morning to you, Gail. Her name is Aaliyah Taylor, and it was a leaked photo of her injuries that made national headlines. Well, now she's ready to share her story. And most importantly, she wants domestic violence survivors to know they're not alone. We want to warn you, some of what you're about to see and hear is graphic.
I still have to regularly get like my concussion checked. I have bolts and a steel plate I'm going to have forever in my arm. I'm going to have to deal with this the rest of my life.
That's the reality for 27-year-old Aaliyah Taylor after she says she was attacked by her then boyfriend, Chad Wheeler. Taylor says the pair dated for 6 months with barely any arguments.
We were like best friends. We did everything together. I even introduced him to my family. We would babysit my nephew together.
But according to Taylor, that all changed on January 22nd, starting with a text from Wheeler that he'd shaved his head.
He just loved this long hair, refused to cut it, and it surprised me and it worried me. I came home and Chad was trying to play it off as if he just kind of cut his hair, but then as time went on throughout the day, he started going downhill emotionally.
Taylor later told police it was the beginning of a manic episode, adding she knew Wheeler suffered from bipolar disorder. Then, according to Taylor, Wheeler snapped into a dark place.
He stood up and he told me to bow down, and I asked him why, and he didn't respond. He just told me to bow down again, and I told him no, and he immediately grabbed my neck, and that's when things began.
Do you recall what happened after that?
When he grabbed my neck, he threw me on the bed, and I remember looking up at him and asking him, "Please stop, Chad, it's me." And I just immediately knew the look in his eyes, that was it.
Taylor, who is 5'9", says that's when Wheeler, 6'7", weighing more than 300 pounds, tried to choke her. According to Taylor, she blacked out twice before the attack was over.
I had touched my face, and I looked down, and there was blood on my hand. And I remember getting up and running to the bathroom. Chad was standing by the bed, by the doorway, and he was sipping his smoothie. And was like, "Wow, you're still alive."
Please help me now. I'm gonna die.
Taylor says she then locked herself in the bathroom, called 911, and texted her family and Wheeler's father for help. According to police reports, it took 3 officers and 2 sets of handcuffs to restrain Wheeler. Police said Wheeler kept apologizing as he was arrested.
Do you think that Chad's behavior is directly connected to a mental health issue?
To be honest, I don't know. He went and ate dinner after doing this to me, and he didn't take the same approach with the cops as he did with me.
The Seahawks dropped Wheeler, saying the team strongly condemns this act of domestic violence. If convicted, Wheeler faces 8 to 12 years in prison. Last week, he pleaded not guilty to 2 domestic violence-related charges and 1 count of resisting arrest. Taylor was in the courtroom.
Why was it so important for you to appear in court?
I didn't want him to think that he had that power over me, that I wasn't going to defend myself. And I thought, how easy would that be for him and his legal team to be able to say whatever they want without having to look me in the eye.
Do you think he should serve prison time for what he did to you?
Yes. Yes, I definitely do think that he should. I have to say the hardest part of all this wasn't the surgeries, it wasn't any of that. It was getting a call from my niece and nephews. They thought they had lost me. And the pain in their voice, I will never forget that. I will never forget that.
And she doesn't want her story to be forgotten either. How grateful are you to be alive?
Beyond grateful, I really feel like God has blessed me with another chance. And I want to try to use the time I've been blessed with to help other people and to get this story out and make sure people don't feel alone and that this doesn't happen again.
CBS News reached out to the attorneys for Chad Wheeler. They declined to comment on the case. Wheeler's trial is set to begin in Washington State in April. A reminder, if you need help related to domestic violence or mental health, we've posted free resources on our website, cbsnews.com. A lot of strength exhibited by this young lady.
Very brave.
So important and so powerful that she's speaking up, and especially the pictures, Derica, are heartbreaking. And you look at the numbers, her height, his height, her weight, his weight.
6'7", 5'9", yeah.
A terrifying change in his demeanor.
Yes.
A shift, 6 months of dating, and then suddenly that?
Yeah, she said not even an argument. You could tell she was very conflicted because she cared so much about him.
Yeah.
But this is one of those difficult stories to tell because it's not just the domestic violence, but also recognizing that there is a mental health component in this.
Yes, it's interesting that she had to say to him at one point, Chad, it's me.
It's me.
Right.
Although, as a matter of mental health awareness, being bipolar does not mean you beat up your family members.
Exactly. It's a very important
something else
point.
going on here.
All right, Jerika, thank you very much.
Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's 8 to 12. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a lot. And then also one thing, and 7, I definitely need your take on this, brother. I need your take on this. The fact that this white man told this black woman to bow down to her.
Bow down, bro.
I literally, okay, I heard this story like 3 or 4 times via Breakfast Club. You know, I'll listen to the Breakfast Club. I heard it a couple times, you know. The first time I'm a little numb to it, but I know it's the Seahawks, so I'm kind of like, oh shit, what's going on here? And then second time, like as I heard it, and now I'm hearing it again, and I kept passing over this bow down to me thing. I didn't. It wasn't a conscious thing. It was like subconsciously. I was like, they kept saying it. I was like, oh, okay, he was just tweaking out, or he was tweaking out. He was tweaking. Now that I see it, now that you played it to me visually, I'm getting a whole nother component to this whole fucking thing that I didn't even conceptualize. I'm like, bow down to me, like what? And he shaved his head too. I'm like,
in my mind, I'm thinking, did he have that mental snap right, and then kind of delve into this like racist pit or something?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He must have had some type of supremacist moment or some shit, like fucking what was that movie with Ice Cube? With
Higher Learning?
Huh? Yeah, higher learning moment or some shit. You just
yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't know Chad Wheeler, obviously. I don't know him. I don't know the young lady that was involved. What was the sister named Aaliyah? I don't know either one of them. But the one thing I can say with certainty, just from hearing that story, and that's the first time I've ever heard it in its completeness, told by someone who was actually a participant in the events. Shaving your head, telling this woman who you've been with for 6 months and everything's been all good to bow down. I'm gonna be honest with you. As a person who has suffered through mental health issues myself, I have sympathy for all people with mental health problems. However,
right,
as the reporter even said, bipolar disorder doesn't mean you beat on your family members or people that you care about. I know plenty of people who are bipolar who never behave in that fashion.
Facts.
The reality is, if he did have a bipolar episode and that's what came out of it, whatever he's been suppressing came out. Whatever he's been suppressing throughout his life, trying to act like a good guy, it came out. And it didn't just come out in the form of violence. It came out in the form of, as you said, his perceived supremacy. I'm bigger than you. I'm a white man, and I make all the money, and I run this shit. No, the fuck you don't. But the reality is, he was in a space with himself, obviously. So sometimes the things that occur out of people's mental illness simply exposes the person that they really are. Because a lot of people walk around wearing masks all day, every day. And I'm not talking about the mask we wear because of coronavirus. I'm talking about the way that we present ourselves to the world. The people that see me at my job, the people that see me when I go in the store, they don't really see me. They see the me that I give to them. Because if I gave them the real me, they would be very afraid. They would be very scared because I'm a large black guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'3". I tower over most people when I go in most places. You know what I'm saying? So I curb that by smiling, being polite. My parents taught me manners, using my manners, being polite, and opening doors for people and things of that nature. That's not me wearing a mask though. That's me simply being a good person to the people who exist in this community with me.
You've also got the dark skin, which obviously a lot of people perceive as like, oh my God, he's about to be overly aggressive for some reason.
Exactly. And then it don't help that I'm always wearing Panther something. So now they like, wait, he's large, he's dark, he's bald, and he a Black Panther. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I have to do a lot to curb people off of feeling threatened by my presence. However, I'm not 6'7", 300 and some odd pounds running up on some 5'9", 100 and something pound female.
Right.
5'9", 145 pounds. He was, what was it, 6'3",
6'7",
315 pounds. That's fucking. He's twice her. That's
Dog, he's big. He make me seem like a small person.
Yeah, you do.
Next to him, he would make me seem like a small person, and I'm not. I'm 6'3", 202, easily 240 pounds. He makes me seem like a small person.
Yeah.
The only crazy part about it is that he got the Dylan Roof treatment when he should have got the Sean Bell treatment. That's what's crazy.
Nice.
That's what's crazy. You feel me? I don't even like Dylan Roof. That's a whole nother conversation we have to have another time. But that still boils my fucking skin every day. I promise you.
Same. You know, I think it's funny that it's not funny. You know, it's the laughing because really you're feeling awkward about it. But it's the Dylan Ruth treatment. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that when you said that. You know, and speaking on prison, I wanted to ask you what you thought about Joe Biden's. He passed some type of little thing about trying to close privatized prisons, but I guess it didn't lead up to much, according to Charlemagne. I never checked it out too much. I'm kind of waiting for the dust to settle on it to accurately. But I don't know if you guys heard about anything about this.
I heard some small rumblings about it. I still got a lot of homies, a lot of comrades are still locked up. You know what I'm saying? And they keep their ears to the street and into the TV to hear stuff like that because they know every president that comes in does something regarding the prison. Even if they don't make it known publicly, even if we don't find out about it, every single president that's ever been elected has done something to the prison system. And the fact that the prison system still exists in the way that it does lets you know that none of the changes they make are good ones. The only thing that I would say is an exception to that is them allowing people with nonviolent offenses, people with weed charges to get out of jail. That was a good start. That was a good start. However, one of the demands of the original of the Black Panther Party was to free all Black men and women from prison and have them retried on whatever case they're in by a jury of their peers. So to me, anything that he does in regards to prisons is going to be a thing. So if you even if you close all of the private prisons, then the question becomes, where do you send the prisoners? The state funded prisons and the federally funded prisons are already overcrowded.
Right.
Because you have so many people who didn't actually commit a crime, but who okay, to put it in the context, most of the laws that are in existence on the books are property laws. They're not laws about people.
Right.
They're laws about property. We don't own property. You understand what I'm saying? So we know that those laws were not meant for us.
Right.
So when you take that into account, and you take into account the incredibly high number of people who are in prisons across the country, we have the largest prison population in the world, in the entire world.
More than
you understand what I'm saying?
More than China.
And China got way more people than we do, but we got more people in prison than they do. So You have to ask yourself, even if closing the private prisons is a thing that Joe Biden wants to do, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to sanction the construction of more state-owned prisons, more federally owned prisons? Because you have to send them somewhere. Because some of those people in those prisons need to be there.
Right.
I've never been a person to say that prison is an unnecessary evil. Some people need to be there. I don't disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? I was a psych major in college, and my focus was criminal psychology. I wanted to be a profiler and chase serial killers. That's what I wanted to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? But instead, I'm right here doing this instead. You know why? Because I realized that in order for me to do that, I had to work for the government, and I don't trust them. So
I will say, doing this though, we might be able to prevent some of those cats that might end up going to prison because of the way this shit is. So by us changing the dialogue and everything, we could change the outcome.
Right. Starting with that education we always talk about. Always starting with that. And that's one of the main things. Like, people see us in our Panther hoodies and so forth and so on. But y'all out here to da 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 da. Nah, man, we out here to educate the people. Just so happen that one of the means of educating people happens to be me marching with this shotgun. That's educational too. You know why it's educational? Because it's showing you that you don't got to be afraid. You got a right to own a gun just like they do. And you got a right to defend yourself if they come at you violently and out of pocket. And chances are, if you defend yourself against the police, you go to court, it's going to end bad. It's a good chance that it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of the matter is, you have to be willing to make a sacrifice somewhere if you really want to win. Any revolutionary, and I read it in Huey P. Newton's book, and I know he wasn't the one who said it, but he did put it out to people in this country. You know, a revolutionary has to accept the fact that he's a doomed man. You have to accept that and be okay with it. Me personally, I ain't got no problem with it, dog. I done almost everything I ever wanted to do in this life. They could take me tomorrow and I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Or they can come get me and throw me in the cage. I already been there. They can't break me with that. The only thing that's gonna break me is continuing to sit here and watch my people suffer and do nothing. Like that'll break me. That will break me every single time. While you were playing that video, I had to turn my video off because I felt it coming. The water was about to start pouring because it doesn't make sense to me that a person with a mental illness in Florida is in a coma. Chad Wheeler is walking into the courtroom under his own power.
Right.
And he's a free man. He's not even in jail. He's out. You understand what I'm saying? But this brother is laying in a hospital in Florida, fighting for his life.
In a coma, man.
In a coma.
In a coma. And he has a mental illness, and they were actively telling them, hey, there's something wrong with him. He has a mental illness. There's something wrong with him. And you right on time, Les.
Right on. Yo.
Yeah,
man. I finally got back to the old lady's crib, my queen's crib. Now I can finally, tune in. What's going on, y'all? Back.
I was actually just discussing how a video that Overnight showed a little while ago about a brother with a mental illness in Florida that got pulled over by the police and they did him dirty. He's in a coma right now. But Chad Wheeler supposedly had a mental illness and he walked into the courtroom under his own power. He's free on bond with his lawyers and everything. He ain't fighting for his life. They ain't rough him up, none of that. So I mean, I know you being our our resident speaker on mental health issues, man, like speak to that, brother. I mean, like I think it's crazy that two people on the same, and a brother's mental illness is pronounced enough that the entire community knows.
Yeah.
They were all out there saying, hey, there's something wrong. He has a mental illness. You have to stop doing what you're doing. You know, the police didn't stop doing what they was doing. You feel me? Because he looked like us. He looked like Chad Wheeler.
Yeah, well, we definitely see the privilege of, being a white man getting away with anything and everything. They're not gonna kill their own. You know what I'm saying? We, as a black man, like, and the black people on this earth, like, we are under mind manipulation, and that thing is like, sometimes we don't know how fucking powerful and that we're geniuses. And so for me, going into that mental institution, like, I seen so many men and women just like, they see something, visionaries, the like, or the education we're reteaching ourselves the shit that they're hiding from us. And so that makes you, like, what I say it is, a lot of adrenaline going to your head. And guess what? As black people, we're already passionate and expressive. Shit, that's why we dance. That's why we go to a football game. Hey, let's go, We're expressive. So you have all that adrenaline going to your right into this frontal lobe. Like all you're doing is just you're reacting to whatever's on your head. And it's like something, the way I see it is like, because I just went through what they'll call a manic episode this past, what was it, November through January, November 2020 through January. And I pushed a lot of people away, but I also got to see who was really like fucking with me. I did all that shit for a reason, because 5 years ago, I didn't know what was going on with me. But all I did was study what these hospitals are doing, as people, I'm being an extrovert, seeing how other people feel around how people are when they're manic. Like, I'm not stupid. We all got crazy. If someone fucking takes your money and someone kills your family, what are you going to do? Right. We ain't going to just sit there and be like, man, like, no, we're fucking pissed off. We're mad.
Right.
Like, as black people, we got a lot of shit to deal with, a lot of stress every day that we got to deal with. And so what you see is that these white cops, the Ku Klux Klan, are protecting their white people from. I've been seeing many videos throughout this whole, like, when people are protesting, these white people wilding out, doing shit all in front of these cops, and the cops are just like, okay, come on, man, just stop, slow down. But what's the thing that happens to us? We just talk back to them or ask them questions. You know what I mean? Man, hey, and then we're dead.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, as black people, we got to get out of this mind manipulation and let it. We're kings and queens, man. Like, fuck all that, man. Like, and know like our value and form together and how to protect each other, saying, hey, I got your back. But
and I took
sometimes it's sad, because sometimes it's, I think black people, they're like, hey, right now I'm doing my own thing. I'm gonna stay over here. But and we're pushing each other away more than we need to be together. You look at all these other cultures, what do? They're all based off of family and helping each other out. They all stay in one house for how long?
Facts.
And then go get another property. I see it all the time.
In Pacific Islander families, they don't even separate.
Come on, bro. Like those families, like I grew up, I'm sure you guys grew up with family. Like, you might know a friend of a friend that is, their family is like first generation immigrants, and all they do is they don't even want you to leave the house until you're married. And if you are married, they still want you to stay home. You always have a place.
Yeah,
they save the money and then they go buy more land. That's who's owning I just came from a store across the street. It's all Asian owned, because they know how to save their money and pump it into each other. But it's really tough to do that with our people, because we've either got burned in the past or we want it all for ourselves. But it's like the only way.
And convenience too.
And convenience,
Convenience is a bitch. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
no, it's true. There's a lot of things that we gotta understand and tackle. But like Seven said before, like our mind, if we don't have this,
man,
there's nothing. It's sad.
I really like what you're saying, and that's last time we were talking. I've been in some rooms like on Clubhouse and just in the space about Black people and psychedelic healing, because oh man, we got 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine though. But Black people using our ancestors use some of these plant medicines, right? And then they criminalize them so that they can pump out stuff to the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, that's fine. Some people need medicine. It's fine, right? But then they only make it that one route, right? But then, a Black man is penalized, or a Black woman is penalized, or a Black trans person is penalized for having some drugs on them, when others are regarded as, avant-garde for using them. Like, for instance, Steve Jobs, white man, and I like Steve Jobs. You know, he's innovative. Everybody, you can't deny that, right? But he used LSD every day, microdosed it.
Active.
Yo, that's
I didn't even
crazy.
know that.
That's
I don't
crazy,
even know,
yeah.
but what that is it's a language and money.
Yes.
If you don't know the language of how they're talking, like for example, like when I first had my manic bipolar, man, I these are air quotes because I don't claim that shit no more. Because if you claim it, that's what you are.
Yeah.
They told me that I was bipolar, and I was like, I don't even know what it is. So I was like, okay, I guess. But once I started seeing the history, and I was in a mental institution for 2 weeks, dog, they force feed you pills like before you eat. You can't eat unless you take these big ass horse pills. You can't eat no food, and my fucking jaw locked. I had a locked jaw right in front of my mom's. I was in there and fucking was had taken a pill, ate my lunch, and then my fucking jaw just locked. I had to take Benadryl to get. So what it is these they're doing profits over the people. They're pushing these pills, these drugs, especially on the black people. And I seen a black man in there. His brain was shot, like from the drugs he was doing on the streets to the pills that they were giving to him inside.
Right.
He couldn't formulate words, so he's just walking around there like blah 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 blah, mush mouth. And I knew from my instincts, whatever I was going through back then, when I went in to that mental institution, I snapped out of it. I was like, this ain't for me. Right. I know this is not for me. Right. So that just shows you like, and everything that I basically, what I would say, I did an experiment because I basically have seen, okay, if you go off the Richter scale and say something different that someone thinks is normal, and and I'm finally finding my voice. I found my voice to actually say what I feel. Because usually I just let things go by and just be like, okay, I'm finally speaking up on things and unjust things that are going on, and people are like, "Oh man, you wilding out. That's crazy." Well, it is, and it's like, well, that's a fear, and I'm not afraid of no one. What's there to be afraid of? And it's the thing is like, if more of us think like that, bro, they're gonna be shaking in their boots.
Yeah.
Look what happened at the Capitol. What I did in November, man, I sat down peacefully in front of the LeMay Car Museum. And you know what I want to do? I said, let me borrow your car. You got all these fucking cars. LeMay Car Museum right here in Tacoma got all these cars. Right. Like and he got another lot full of 300 cars. I was like, let me just borrow one. I'll bring it back. Let me go over and talk to Donald Trump and Biden about all this bullshit that you guys got going on. But then guess what happened at the Capitol in January? These motherfuckers formed several hits across the capitals. Yep. And we're walking out the building it was shit. At a Capitol building. And I wonder if the federal government caught up with all of those guys that did all that shit.
Definitely
well, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna put it like this.
Yeah.
An action like that cannot take place. An action like that cannot take place, especially at the Capitol, without consent from up higher.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody above everyone who was in that building when that took place had to say, "Hey, they coming, let them in." Because you say they moved the little board boundaries that was in the way. They moved those out the way, and hey, yeah, y'all come on in. And the one officer who had the audacity to stop, the black cop, to say, "Hey, man, nah, y'all can't do this."
Yeah,
you know, they tried to ostracize him, and you know, I salute you know, for whatever my issues are with Biden and Kamala Harris, I salute them for bringing that brother out at the inauguration and shining some light on him and being like, yo, he was the only one willing to stand up. I appreciate that. At the end of the day, I know we got a little limited time, but man, all I'm gonna say is we up against a whole lot. Don't ever get it confused. We still at war. And the real power of the people lies in preparation and audacity. You never be afraid. Never be afraid. Or the worst thing they can do, all we got to lose is our chains, and the worst thing they can do is take your life. And if controlling of your life ain't worth much anyway. So
yes. All knowledge is power, and that's one thing they can't take away from us, bro. For real. And kings don't die, we multiply. You feel me? So
I always
Yes,
say,
sir.
do what you can, when you can, how you can. You know what I'm saying? And
Doubt.
I'm really learning to gain my strength and, like you said, my voice, and to
Yeah.
be different, and telling people to be different, be themselves, but also don't be afraid to work with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I was last time I was telling them, I'm about to start this course, like, I'm thinking in the future maybe about like purging people of their inner white supremacy, because we all suffer from it. Whether you're black, white, whatever. If you want to purge that stuff, it's hard and it's deep. And you guys sound like you guys are on that level where you're not.
Salute.
Exactly. Where you're not afraid to work with each other, and
Yeah.
that's something that I feel like I've finally just really rid my. And not that I was always with the shits, don't get me wrong, but just even the dictation of my happiness. That's the happiness that they had in my life, just waking up like tense. And now I'm like, I don't know. I be working out every day, just like I wish a motherfucker would, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to. I don't want to be like that, but I'll be damned if they come through
Yeah.
and yank me like that, you feel me? But
Yeah. And if you're not already doing this, read, bro. Read, man. Reading, like I'm saying, like when they can't take nothing from you, from the knowledge that you already obtained, and all you have to do is use that language that they know. That's the biggest thing. That's how we gonna get them.
right.
While
That's
you're
what
over there
Huey.
doing that,
When I
Alex,
watched that Black Panther movie, yo, that shit hyped me up, bro. Because the way Huey and Bobby Seale were fucking talking back to the police like that. No, we know our rights, and that's one of the 10 laws of the Panthers, man. We gotta know our fucking the rights, and that's how we beat them. So we gotta read. And brother, if y'all ever want to join the men's book club, my fault, I never got to you guys back on that.
I was gonna
But right now
suggest a book. Let's suggest a book real quick, everybody.
Right now the men's book club is reading. I started up with some other homies I went to high school with. We're reading The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I think I just picked it up from the library today. So Pete, yeah, I'm not today, but yesterday. So let's get it, man.
I recommend Be Free or Die by Robert Smalls.
No doubt.
Oh man, I'm about to search that.
Overnight, what you got? Overnight, what you got?
Power.
10 Laws of Power. Hey, that's a good one. I recommend Die Nigga Die by H. Rap Brown.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will real quick.
Man, we're gonna definitely reconvene, man. We're gonna get it active. So we got less than a minute, man. Much love to you guys. All blessings.
Word.
Lester was talking about knowledge.
Yeah, that Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey. People already see a people without the knowledge of their past origin and culture is like a tree without roots. When he said knowledge, that's the shit that popped in my head.